Hello Sparkle family, and welcome to another Flow State Tarot video. I hope that you all are doing well today and that you are in a space to receive and give yourself some love, because today the topic that we are looking at is how to practice self-love, or ways to practice self-love. Because I'm sure we all have ways that we've done it already, but maybe there's something new that we can tap into. So I thank you all for being here. I have 3 different decks that I'm going to shuffle into the piles today. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about self-love and the importance of it and practicing it while I shuffle the piles for you. But if you just want to jump into the pile selection, the timestamps are below. So hello Sparkle family. We're going to start out with pulling the True Love cards for piles 1 and 2, and we want to stay centered and focus truly on, wow, that's crazy because I wanted 3 cards, so off to a strong start with pile 1 here. I want us to stay centered and to focus on what are we really thinking about ourselves. What are we thinking about ourselves? What do we believe about ourselves? And what are the things that we currently practice for self-love that maybe we could mix up? Maybe we've been doing it for a long time, and maybe it wasn't even like a thing that we necessarily want to do for self-love, but instead was something someone told us that we should try, and then we just kept doing it. That one is sticky. That one has been in my hand, so we're going to put that in pile 2. But self-love is so important, and I think that we luckily in this time, day, and age are starting to put an emphasis on that. Oh, second card fell out. We're looking for one more, please, and thank you, Spirit. We're all tapped in at this point, or a lot of us collectively are tapped into the fact that it's important to take care of ourselves. And, oh, sticky. Okay. We have pile 1, we'll put over here. Pile 2, we'll put over here. Sorry, everyone. I'm just trying to make it so it's like, looks nice for you guys. Anyways, I'm feeling very scatterbrained today filming this. This is also not the first time that I've been filming this today. It has been a day. So that could be something for collectively, if you're listening to this, to get your thoughts in order. That can be a form of self-love, because sometimes when we're all over the place, we can't like serve ourselves very well. You know, we can't do the things that we want to do or start the projects that we want to start. Oh, wow. Okay. So 3 is our number today, apparently. But when we don't slow down and take care of ourselves, we can't do the things that we want to do. We can't show up the way we want to show up in our everyday life. And if we can't in our everyday life, I can't even speak. What is happening? Collectively, I think we really need to just get our thoughts in order, write things down, and we're feeling, oh, that was too many. Look at all the things that came out. Look, one of the first things I saw were confidence and frustration. So if that speaks to you at all, we were just getting some collective vibes as we shuffle here if you're hanging out with me. But really, get your thoughts in order. If there are tasks, even if you're finding that you're thinking all over the place and you're starting one thing and you're starting another, which is something I'm very prone to doing as well because I need a list, is to make a list and to reevaluate your list. Maybe you have like an everyday balance, just a little sneak peek there, but I think it also applies to what we're talking about. But maybe you have an everyday routine too that's like your to-do list, and it's like self-love to do, even kind of what I mentioned like a little bit ago, where maybe you had something that you used to do as a ritual and it just was like for you in a different part of your life, you know? So I'm going to pull, these are the self-love oracle deck that I made with my photography and my poems. And I'm going to pull, I don't think 3, maybe. We'll see. We'll see if Spirit wants us to pull that. But apologies, you know, still a new YouTube channel, still getting used to the setup, how to talk to you guys, how to give you the best message and make the most of it, and then also how to do the format. And as I say this fell out. Be the hope, don't dim your light. So again, some sneak peeks at the piles. But also, I think in collective readings, sometimes we are sent the messages. Yeah, that was too many. Sometimes we are sent the messages like multiple times. So maybe someone is here that isn't in pile one that needed to hear that message, you know? We're going to see if anything else comes out, because more than 3 cards is a lot for me when I'm not doing a super in-depth reading. Okay, here we go. We got 2. We got 3, 3, and 2, so we'll do 2 on pile 2. Anyways, I hope that you all will take a moment to after you listen to this, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and then sit down in a quiet room with a journal and just stream of conscious journal. Like literally, oh, okay. 2 on this side that we're going to take because they speak to me the most. And we're always trusting that vibe. Also, but if you did see things that resonated with you that popped out, take them. Take what resonates, leave the rest. So these are pile 1 and pile 2, and we're going to go to the pile selections, and I'll see you there. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the pile selection. If you're popped over here and weren't chatting with us in the shuffling, I have 2 fun little Polaroids here that I took today on our touching grass hours. And I figured, you know, why not choose the one that speaks to us the most? Being a very visual artist myself, you know, I spend a lot of my time taking pictures, making images, making videos, etc. So I just wanted to share some of my day with you, things that I thought to capture, and whichever one makes you feel good inside, gravitate towards that one. This will be pile 1 and this will be pile 2. And I'll see you guys in your selection. All right, hello. If you're here for pile number 1, I'm going to move this just a little closer so you can see it. This area that we were in was so beautiful by the Chattahoochee. It felt like I was literally in the Shire. It was so beautiful. So welcome if you chose this one. We're just going to set this right up here by the candle so you guys can just see it while we're in the reading. And we are talking about ways to practice self-love. So what I have here for you today are 3 true love reading cards, which are, you know, true love, I think, very much applies to ourselves. So we're going to look at those. We're going to look at the Prism Oracle cards, and then we also have 2 of my self-love Oracle cards that I made. So we're just going to go through them each one at a time, and we're going to look at how these things can help us and translate into ways to practice self-love. So we're going to start with the true love reading cards, actually. That's what we're going to do. Don't mind me. So, starting with emotional freedom. So one of the ways that we can practice self-love is by giving ourselves that emotional freedom and the permission to be within it. I'm just going to turn these over while we're here. Pretty telling right now, right? But maybe lately you've been feeling a lot of things that you either recognize or have not. And because you haven't, you aren't really fully feeling them. You aren't letting yourself be tapped into it. And it's kind of a domino effect. If you look at this sideline next to them, right? Manifestation and self-respect both stem from being in tune with oneself and making decisions based on your emotions and your desires, right? The things that you want, the things that you're growing, the things that you're feeling. But if you're not feeling them, there's going to be a block, right? Well, especially when we talk about chakra blockage. And if you're not allowing yourself to feel the things you need to feel, then it can cause problems, and it does. So one way that you can practice self-love is to allow yourself to feel. And ways that you can do this is to lock yourself in a dark room and cry. You could watch something that makes you feel, Like, watch a piece of media or consume media that makes you feel a certain type of way. Maybe that's a movie. Maybe it's a song. For me, I'll tell you right now, Coldplay. If I listen to Coldplay, specifically anything off the X and Y album, I will cry. So if I really need to get something out, like, and it's for some reason I'm feeling stuck about it, I can listen to that album. It's gonna work for me, right? And now I'm not saying you should make yourself upset, but feeling the true feeling and also being able to release it encourages the natural flow of ourselves and our emotions and then our decision making. And decision making affects you every day of your life, right? Because every day you're making decisions. And you want to be able to make those decisions in the ways of self-respect. You want to walk on this path that you've paved for yourself in the light that you're shining for yourself because you've chosen it and you know that it's what you want. I think that a lot of the blocks that are in your life right now are coming from the fact that you can't even recognize that something is bothering you. And I say this all, disclaimer, with love and kindness. And mind you, I know you know yourself better than me. If you're not actually ready to feel the feelings yet and there's a reason why this is happening, then by all means, you do you. You know what's best for yourself. But if you know that maybe you are upset at your friend because she went to dinner without telling you with a group of other friends and you guys have been having weird vibes for a while, maybe you do need to think about it and maybe you do need to talk about it, you know? And then because of that, we can work into, right, the other ways that we can practice self-love by self-respect. By respecting ourselves, we show up for ourselves, we tell the truth for ourselves and the others in our lives, and we make conscious positive decisions. And I like the flow here of the stars, right? The journey continues. You're guided and you're walking with the guidance of the stars. However you want to look at this, right? And then concurrently we have manifestation, and it's like manifestation is self-love at its finest, I think, because when you're feeling the love for yourself so much that you can dream for yourself and call in things that make you feel so good, it's, you respect yourself, you respect your visions, you respect everything that you're made of and that came before you enough to want to call it in and to have it be a part of your life. Manifestation is active, right? Sometimes we can end up with things that we're like, wow, it's so awesome, I got this. But a lot of the times we're working for these things. So that's also a way we can show self-love, is maybe if you've never even tried scripting for manifesting, if that's something you don't just hate or hasn't, not worked for you before. Because I think that's another thing that happens is we watch like 10 videos on YouTube that say we need to do this thing for manifestation. And then when it doesn't work, that's it. And it either just doesn't work for us because it's not what works for us, or we just didn't do it consistently enough because, like anything else, it's still a practice, as is this, as is this. So, to call in these things, what are some mantras that we could say to ourselves? Write it all over so you never forget the beauty of your rare soul and the potential you have to bloom yet. So, I mean, for real, look at this. Write it all over. Remind yourself. Maybe if you feel weird writing like positive things about yourself, maybe you can have someone you trust and love and is close to you write some positive things about you that you're working on, that you're trying to grow, and you can hang that up around your house. But this is literal and figurative, but like seriously, write it down, whatever that is. The self-respect affirmations, the self-love affirmations, the way that you're feeling about something in a letter to someone or yourself that you burn, the things that you desire, the things that you dream. Be the hope. Don't dim your light. So that too, don't dim yourself for other people. That's another form of self-love, is by respecting yourself, respecting your ideas, and respecting what is the unique light that you're bringing to the table. That is all self-love. And maybe we know these things already, right? There's a high chance that we know these things. But it's easy to know something. It's a lot harder to act upon it. So lastly, we're going to look at these Prism Oracle cards. We have sadness, ghost, and energy. So, oh my goodness. In the ways that we can practice self-love, here's what we're going to do. We're going to move these over. This says so much to me, okay? You really get upset by the energy that you expend to other people. And so a way that you can practice self-love is by protecting your energy. And mind you, I do not usually advocate for this, but I think as I grow older, I realize truths about life, right? If you have to ghost someone, I would encourage you to do it. Why? Because there's a good chance that you, in this whatever connection it is, it doesn't matter what, have probably tried to talk about the situation. Now, granted, there are always moving parts in a relationship. If you like haven't spoken your mind or you don't know why you're upset, don't just go like cutting someone off. But if you're in a scenario where you're sad because your energy is drained because of someone else and it's a consistent thing, like you have to cut it off. And that is self-love. If you can be a person that can communicate your feelings in a relationship, work towards fixing it, doing everything you can to pour into the cup, and then the other person isn't matching that, that is not anymore your responsibility. And if it is causing you pain on a regular basis, you owe it to yourself. It's an act of self-love to cut the person out. I do, if you've known me ever in my life, I've always been super anti-ghosting people. But sometimes, even with the most with it person, you can sit down and articulate every single thing that is wrong to you in the relationship, you know, right or wrong, regardless. You could be like, listen, you do this thing, it upsets me, it's been going on for a while, this leads to this, leads to this. I really need us to work together to do this, right? Months go by, things are still happening. At a certain point, you're not speaking the same language. And if the other person is consistently showing actions or disregard to the action that you're trying to repair in the friendship, dynamics are a two-way street, every connection. So that, I think one single person that will ever listen to this ever in time needed to hear that, because I really don't, if you know me personally, I will talk anything out with anyone, any amount of times. I will give people chances. But what I've learned through life and from getting burned through that is that there also have to be the other side of the filter of, okay, this person says they want to change. We are here. This is what needs to happen. Time goes by. This doesn't change. Now the ball's back in your court. Do you approach it again and find a different avenue to change? Is the other person even trying? Or is it the time where you go, this isn't for me, and you move on with your life? You know, there are even current scenarios where, and I don't think that ghosting a person or a scenario makes you non-emotionally affected by it as well, because there's still people that I have had to do this with that I am so hurt by it on a regular basis because it's painful. But that's part of life, right? And there's always good and bad with the things that we live through. So that can be a huge act of self-love. And this really ties into these things because you are shining your light. You're giving the chances. You know, you have enough self-respect to respect them. And now you're realizing when you come into tune with your feelings that this shit's making you sad. And you don't deserve to feel that way. You're manifesting peace and patience and kindness, you know? So that's a big one. I think the biggest things here are to practice self-love, is to protect yourself and your energy, to identify what your emotions are, and to remind yourself that you can be the hope. Don't dim your light. So my pile number ones, I hope that this was helpful for you. Please like, comment, subscribe, all of the above. Please share this with everyone. Would love to hear how this resonated in the comments. And if you made it to the end, put manifest, or you can share what you're manifesting. And I'll see you in the next one. Hello, my fabulous pile number 2. Today, we are looking at ways to practice self-love. And this picture is a fun one of Boo fishing, which we were out in the rain fishing this morning, which I never thought I would say that. Well, I wasn't fishing. He was, but anyways, we are going to talk about you because that's why you're here. We have a bunch of cards here for you that I'm excited to share. Of course, the self-love oracle deck that I created with my photos and my poems. We've got 2 of those bad boys, which we'll look at last. I have the Prism oracle cards, which we have 3 of, to get just a vibe. What can give us the direction of what we need to know about our self-love journey? And then we have the true love cards, which true love is rooted in self-love. I would say it's the top to give ourselves love. That's true. That's real. So we're going to look at these, and we're going to look at these first. Forgiveness. How can we practice self-love? That's a really strong starting card. My goodness. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm still getting used to the fact that my mount is near my arms. So please excuse me while sometimes I knock into you and you rattle around. Anyways, today let's look at ways that you can practice self-love. So we're going to start with forgiveness. How many avenues can we go with this, right? I forgive myself, I am forgiven. That's the first thing I thought of, was forgiving yourself, but also forgiving other people. Practicing self-love is letting things go, seriously. And as someone who can occasionally in their life have maybe not let things go like they should have, it's for the greater good. It's for you. Forgiving someone else is none of their business, and it's not about them. And maybe you just need to hear that again. If you forgive someone for something they did, it's taking the burden off your shoulders, because this golden light right now is not wrapped around your shoulders. You are tense. You are tight. Right? I don't know if you just heard my neck crack, but I did that and then my neck cracked. So hello, maybe you should get up and stretch your neck. But you need to forgive yourself. A way to practice self-love is to forgive yourself, forgive other people, get to the root of the problem, right? Because when you do that, there are abundance. I can't think of the right word to say. I was going to say there are abundances that arise, but that's not the right way to say it. Everything is abundance when you're living in this true light of moving forward with your life. And that's the motion that you need right now. The self-love really comes into play with you with moving forward. Abundance, I would label this as practicing that. Really do as much as you can to practice gratitude and to see all of the things that are around you in your life right now, which are incredible, because it's a lot. There are like incredible, you live in a gold mine, okay? And to be fair, life doesn't always feel like that. And that is not to invalidate your feelings. But if you looked around a little bit, you might notice more than you had noticed before. And I think this goes with gardening too, because the gardener, we have planting seeds for ourselves, right? This kind of goes with also what I was speaking about, if you listen to the shuffling, about weeding the garden. I've spoken about this before as well, to the things that people have told us that we should do or say, or the way we were raised, or beliefs that may or may not serve us. Even forgiving people for having planted those seeds younger in our life, even if that's society. Forgiving society for making us feel a certain way for a certain part of our life, or anything like that. Those are all ways that we can practice self-love, because I'm hearing that there was an instance, again, take what resonates, leave the rest. I feel like I have to disclaim that often because it's collective reading, and I'm still also getting to know what I need to disclaim for my audience. But there is something that, oh, sorry, smack you guys again. There's something that you have experienced in your childhood that really just, I'm rubbing my eyes. That's how you felt. That's how it felt. And it makes you just still to this day rub your temples and just have that exasperated feeling in your head. And the way that you get rid of that is by getting rid of the belief. So you have to just sit with it, forgive whatever may have led you to having this belief, and then thank it for whatever it served you for and move forward with your life. So we're going to look at our Prism Oracle cards next. This really, truly, my friends, is a chaotic reading. I have barely been able to speak in the many times I've been recording. So I also have been saying, and will say again, please journal or something. Literally, reflection, hello, balance, and abundance. That's crazy. Okay, but reflection is real. Please journal. I feel like there's a lot going on in your brain that you're just not even aware of. And maybe you don't even know about the situation that you need to forgive because you didn't know you'd latched onto it. But I'm going to really need you to reflect on what is in your conscious, subconscious, and what is still affecting you. That is your self-love. Take some time and do it in a fun way that doesn't feel overwhelming. If you don't like journaling, find a different way to do it, right? Maybe meditate. And again, please find the way to do it that works for you. There's so many different ways. You don't have to do a traditional someone talks at you. There's music meditation. There's movement meditation. Something's got to move to be balanced out again. But the abundance, you're surrounded by it. That's another way to practice self-love. Seriously, start to recognize the abundance in your life. I would also argue that the imagery here is not even what it wants. The universe wants you to pay attention to. It's the people in your life. It's the things, it's not just monetary things. It's what is the feeling around you? Who are the people around you? What are the things in your life that make you feel and want to practice in that self-love? So thinking about that, we have these two cards. I am bright. Let your love reach its truest form. Excuse me. My goodness, you all. So you are bright, and your love wants to be given. And you know what? It's a lot harder to give love when we're also holding on to the past, and we're holding on to anger, and we're holding on to things that no longer serve us. And I also just feel like none of these are in the right place. So sorry I keep messing with it, but yeah. Let your love reach its truest form. Do the things that you want to do naturally out of love without asking for permission. Just do it. If you want to go show up at your friend's work to bring them a brownie because they posted on their story that they want to do that, do it. Talk to them for 5 minutes, then go on with your life. If you want to make your mom a crocheted animal or whatever it is that you craft because she just said she liked it, and you need something to do that afternoon, do it. Whatever it is in its truest form, that's also love to you. Letting yourself love and be loved, and do it in the most honest and intentional way. So, my goodness, pile 2. What we're looking at here for our self-love is forgiving ourselves and others, recognizing the abundance in our life, and letting our love be our love and showing that to the people in our lives. That is self-love. So I hope that you will like, comment, and subscribe, my hitchhiker thumb, and let me know what resonated with you in the comments. And if you made it to the end, type abundance to claim it and let me know what you're calling in. But besides that, I'll see you in the next one, and I hope you have a marvelous day. In a mystical moment.